All right, we on live. I see it. I see it on my end. So we are on live. All right, we on live. I see it. I see it on my end. So we are on live. All right, we on live. I see it. I see it on my end. So we are on live. All right, we on live. I see it. I see it on my end. So we are on live. All right, we on live. I see it. I see it on my end. So we are on live. All right. All right. All right. We on live. This is left side of the brain. I don't know. I don't see the chat. See, this is my first time doing Google Hangouts. I don't see the comments. So I had to look at my phone in order to see the comments. I really don't see. This is my first time doing Google Hangouts. Shit. All right. Okay. Okay. Lee Wing Wen Zing. I'm about to proceed. All right. Hey. All right. Let's start. Let's start. This is left side of the brain. We having some technical difficulties. I hate to have you waiting like that. It's not my fault. Again, this is my first time doing a Google Hangout because when I try to do live from YouTube, it won't help. I see somebody was telling me to cut the chat message feedback notification off, but I don't see from the Google Hangout end. So just let me get started. Okay, Lee, Wing, Zing, I'm about to proceed. All right. Hey, all right, let's start. This is left side of the brain. We having some technical difficulties. I hate to have you waiting like that. It's not my fault. Again, this is my first time doing a Google Hangout because when I try to do live from YouTube, it won't help. I see somebody was telling me to cut the chat message feedback notification. All right. This is left side of the brain. I'm gonna just have to go. I'm trying to see. I have like a lag on when I'm looking at it from my phone. It's like a time lag where I'm doing it live here, and then when I'm playing this, it's like a few seconds behind. So it's kind of throwing me off. You know what I'm saying? And I want to see everybody like live, like real time. So this is not how I expected it to be. But nevertheless, let's get started. Okay, let's start off the right way. This is Left Side of the Brain. Welcome to the channel. Hit the subscribe button. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Like I said, this is my first time. Today's subject, we're going to be speaking about my astral projection experience and feeding the need. That's the topic for discussion tonight. So without further ado, let me start. What I don't see from the group. I see everybody. I'm looking at your chat messages from right here. So I don't see it on my screen. But anyway, well, let's start. Like I said, this left side of the brain, and we on this new thing for 2019, which is really 2020, because I'm ahead of them, and you should be too. Throughout this live stream, I might be saying terminology that you're not used to. You'll have to go back to the channel and look at some of the videos, and I'm gonna just give you a brief detail of some of the things that I will be saying. I will say the great falling away. I will say them. Them is an acronym which means trivial humans establishing mayhem. That's what we call the human prison bars. Human prison bars are what we call the organic portals, but I describe it a little deeper than most people. So that's why I came up with the term human prison bars, because I describe it and I go deeper than most people. So I had to create my own terminology. So we're going to be discussing human prison bars. I'm going to say the great falling away. The great falling away is the time that existed before the human prison bar system. For further details on that, you can refer back to the channel. I do a series called Red Light Editions. You can go back and look at the red light edition that I did titled The Great Falling Away. Something else that I might say, I will say us. When I'm referring to the Jaguars, I say us, which means the United Souls. Another thing you might hear me say, I'll say soul. Whenever I say soul, that means a collection of information. So, and if I say any more terminology that we say on the channel, I'll take a moment and tell you what I mean by that. Now, lately on the channel, if you've been following, we've been talking about darkness. Coming into 2019, I did a video about doing the New Year ritual. If you was following us on the previous channel, we also did a coming into the new year type of ritual. Go back to that video. and you can see everything that I said about that. It's still up on the channel. And it's February right now, and I took a turn on this channel. And what I mean is, I told myself that we are deep into the 21st century. It's 2020. And another thing we have said on this channel is by the year 2020, that means your 2020 vision should be on point. So 2020 represents your conscious lens to see things. It should be at 2020 right now. And the path I decided to take was darkness. I'm gonna go over some things before we get to the meat of the conversation tonight. And I'm kind of shaking because I wanted this thing to be better than what it is, because I don't see the chat. So I want to really engage with the people. So I wish I'm gonna have to figure this out. Like when I start to call in, somebody's gonna have to help me out on this Google chat end, because it has where I can share the screen and everything. So I don't know, like, it's just confusing me. Like, I'm looking at it right here and I'm behind. Like, I'm looking at myself, things I said like 2 minutes ago, but you all are not recognizing that. So I'm ahead of you. And you know what? That's a synchronicity. Because like I said, I'm ahead of the pack. I'm in 2020 already. So I'm going to say that's a synchronicity. All right. So let's lay some things out. We're talking about darkness, right? And I did a series on the elements. And I went over air, I went over fire, I went over water, I went over earth, but the final element is darkness. I know you never heard that before, but darkness is an element, okay? Now, there was a few people who didn't understand what I was talking about when I was speaking about darkness, because darkness, it has a negative connotation applied to it by the people who want to keep you away from the truth. Another thing we said on this channel is truth means the right understanding to heaven, which is out of this human prison bar system. It's only two purposes in this life. There's only two things that you can do. You can escape or be trapped inside of it. That's it. It's no gray area. There's no in-betweens. And I've said it on this channel before. It's only two things you can do: escape or be trapped inside of it. Okay? So the people who put this dark connotation or this negative, even you see how I said this dark connotation, they painted darkness to be something evil. You see? But darkness is the original element before anything, before water, before light, before earth, before anything, darkness existed. It spans across everything. So when I thought about it like that, I said to myself, you know, we have to be more like the darkness, more like the truth. You see what I'm saying? Because darkness is also a metaphor for existence. Everything came after the darkness. So when you think about the darkness, it doesn't need anything to validate it. You see, like everything else does. You and I, people, the truth, it needs no validation. Even when you think about light in a metaphorical sense, if I was to light a candle, it needs validation, meaning it needs something to compare and contrast itself. Like light it needs something to compare itself to, like light and then dark. Darkness does not need that. You see what I'm saying? Light, it needs to travel through darkness. Darkness does not need to travel through light. You see what I'm saying? Like if I lit a match right now, the light rays travels through the darkness. But darkness, it doesn't travel through light because light is an illusion. You can have artificial lights, but you can't have an artificial darkness. So I'm building up to my astral projection experience because I went through that darkness. Okay? And I'm going to tell you something else. On this channel, we do not believe in having children. Okay? Anybody telling you to go out and have kids, they are evil. They are not coming with the right knowledge. All right? Because children are nothing but people, souls inside of a prison body. That's all it is. And every woman, she manifests a particular without her even knowing it, she acts as an agent of this human prison bar system. Through her body, souls, they travel, excuse me, through her body, souls, they travel and end up in this world down here. And that's why I say anybody who don't say that, they are a charlatan. That's why I'm the only person that you hear say that. Because I don't have any kids. I don't want any kids. Anybody who can't say that, they don't have the truth. Because everything down in this world is held down by gravity. Gravity is the force that magnetizes everything on this round earth, this round sphere that we live on. And yes, we don't live on no flat earth. I'm going to tell you why tonight. All right? We don't live on no flat earth. The earth is round. It's spherical. It's a spherical, round planet that we live on. All right? Now, without further ado, let me tell you about my situation, right? And I'm not going to rush through this. I was laying in my bed one night, right? And it was like, I want to say like 8 in the morning, right? Hold on. I was laying in my bed, right? And it was like 8 in the morning, right? So I had my eyes shut. And I had my head laid up against the headboard with my pillow up like this. And I was laying like this. And before you know it, I was sweating. I was sweating on my forehead and I was laying like this. And my window, I was laying on my side like this, looking towards the window. So imagine me I was laying like this. Here's the headboard, and I was laying like this. And all of a sudden, I felt myself rise out of my body. I was in like this, I wasn't asleep. I was like, I was in between, I was just waking up, but my eyes were still closed. But I felt myself rise out of my body. I wasn't asleep. I was just as awake as I am right now, but my eyes was closed. I was like this. So before you know it, I actually shot out of my body through the window. And I'm not making this up. I have no need to make anything up. You can believe it You can say I'm just saying this. I don't care. I'm going to tell you anyway. Before I knew it, I had shot out of the window. Not my physical body, but my inner self. I could feel it. It left out of my body, and I went through the window. And before that moment took place, I could tell it was about to happen, but I had no control over it. I could feel the pull, but I had no control over it. So in my mind, I decided to just go with the flow. So before you knew it, I had shot out of my body. I went through the window at incredible speeds. I would say if I could clock how fast I was going, I would say, man, I was probably going as fast as one of those NASA rocket ships or even faster. And in my mind, I was communicating with myself. And I was saying, like, what is this? I was like, what's taking place? Am I dying? Because it didn't seem like anything that they tell you about death. Like you see this white light at the end of the tunnel. It wasn't none of that. What happened to me was as I flew out of my body and went through that window, I went up, up, up into space. And it was darkness up there. I seen all of the planets. And I looked back at the earth. The earth is round. It's not flat. I looked back at the earth. I saw the clouds around the earth. I saw the blue ocean waters. And even before I got that high up, I seen like, you ever looked at like a Google map and you can zoom in and then you can zoom out and the streets and stuff and the buildings, they start to get smaller and smaller and smaller as you zoom out. That's exactly how it looked. That's exactly how it looked when I had zoomed out, when I was going up. As I was looking down, and mind you, I'm not in a body. This is all conscious. So as I looked down, the trees and stuff, they started getting smaller and smaller. And before I knew it, I was way up, like in the solar system. I saw planets, I saw stars, and of course I looked back down at the earth, and I passed the moon. I was past the moon. So I seen the moon, and all of those planets are round. They are not flat. So that's why I said the earth is not flat. I know from firsthand experience, the earth is round. Okay? And I'm going to tell you how I was feeling when I was up there. When I was up in the solar system, I was communicating with myself. And a moment came when I felt, and this is strange, I felt sad for God. And I said to myself, I was like, wow, God must be real lonely. Because at the moment when I was way up in outer space, nothing mattered. Absolutely nothing. It's like when you look back at the earth, you're so far away from everything. Everything that I was thinking about before I zoomed out of my body, it vanished. It had no meaning to it whatsoever. And I was saying to myself, what if I don't get back to my body? Is this it? Is it just me out here in this Milky Way galaxy all by myself? And as I was thinking those things, I started to come back down. I started to descend down. I said to myself, I said, oh no. I said, I hope I'm not about to go to hell. Because you know how you be thinking about things that people tell you, like going to church and they tell you that if you die without being a Christian, you go to hell and this, that, and the other. So I was way up, hovering in like the Milky Way, right? That's what I'm calling it, but in outer space. I was way up by myself, and I wasn't cold. It wasn't cold out there. It wasn't no temperature. It was just like stillness, absolute peace and calmness. Still peace and calmness. And when I started thinking about, wow, God must be really sad. I felt sorry for God. I was saying to myself, man, this is how it felt. I felt like I was chosen to even be out there, number one. For God to even show me this, I felt chosen. And then I felt lonely, not for myself, but for the Creator. I said to myself, it must be very lonely on the top. That's what I said to myself, like way up in all of this deep, deep, infinite space. What do you do up here? Those are the exact emotions that I was feeling about God. I was like, what do you do up here? Like, but nothing was speaking to me. It was like I was conscious of my understanding, and I was conscious of a higher understanding that doesn't communicate with words, but it's a feeling of assurance that there is something higher than yourself. I'm not saying that I'm God, but I'm connected. There is a higher source other than yourself. Okay? So as I was thinking these thoughts, all of a sudden I started to descend. So as fast as I went up, I started to come down at the same velocity, right? And I said, "Oh my God, this is what I'm saying in my mind. I'm like, where am I headed to now?" I didn't know. So I started coming down, and I came back into the Earth's atmosphere. And then I came back and I started seeing the green trees again and everything around me. This was right outside of my window. Okay, I'm coming back down, and before you know it, I went underground. I'm gonna tell you what I seen underground. I saw a cave system, and I saw this ember colored light, like a furnace, like a flame. It wasn't hot, it wasn't hell, but it was a cave system. It was a world under this world, deep in the crevices of the earth. Once I went down there, it's a cave system, but it opened up. And it's like a system of caves that's under this world system. I didn't see any creatures or anything like that, but I saw the system of caves. And at this moment, I was saying to myself, I was like, God, I hope this is not hell. I was like, I don't want no hell experience. I was like, please, if this is what you're trying to show me, I was like, I understand. I get it. I said, I get it, God. You ain't got to show me. And when I said that, that's when I returned in an instant. I was back in my body. And I woke up like, wow. And that entire day, I was like, the whole, like you go through the mundane things during the day, nothing seemed like it was worth or meant anything. Like I was just going through the motions. Like I know I talk about it a lot, but when you actually experience going into like outer space like that, astral projecting like that, when you come back down, everything just seems like none and void. It's like nothing has any purpose to the actual meaning of it all. You know what I'm saying? It's like I didn't get gratification out of anything. And it took a couple of days before I settled back into my normal disposition of things. Because what I experienced was something that nobody can tell me about. You see what I'm saying? So this is how I know for a fact that the earth is not flat. Nobody can tell me that it is because I looked and I saw it for myself. The earth is round. It wasn't flat. Nobody can tell me that there is not an underworld cave system underneath this earth. I've seen it for myself. All right. Now, fast forward. It was a few days after that. I would say like 2 days after my initial experience, I had another experience. And this time, I went to the moon. I went to the surface of the moon. The same setup. I was laying on my bed. And mind you, I was still thinking about the other experience. So I guess because I was still pondering on it, it created a vortex or opening for me to experience it again. So I was laying on my bed, and before you know it, the same little moment came when I knew something was about to happen. I can't explain that moment, but it's like I felt myself separating. And before you know it, I shot up to the surface of the moon. 1 second. Before you know it, I shot up to the surface of the moon. Now, I'm gonna tell you about it. And on the moon, when I landed on the moon, the dust on the moon is like very, very soft. It's not like beach sand. It's more finer than beach sand. It's like a powder. It's almost like the consistency of powder, like baby powder. And when I landed on it, it's like it just went up in the air. Like it's very, very fine. Like if you took some flour, a flour bag, and just threw the flour. That's the consistency of the sand on the moon, if you want to call it sand. But for lack of a better term, the surface of the moon is covered with this powdery substance. Now, there is life forms on the moon. I'm gonna tell you what I saw. Underneath that powdery substance on the moon, about 1 inch underneath that powdery substance, I would say like 2 inches, there are creatures that have a flat face. They lay on their back like this, underneath the surface of the powder. Let's say this is the powder right here, right? This is the powder. About 2 inches under the powder, there are creatures. They look like sand dollars. You ever heard of a sand dollar? That's in the ocean. They are round. These creatures are round. And they squiggle like this on their back. And they live about 2 inches under the surface of the moon. And they have a face that's flat. That's what I seen on the moon. Now, I don't know what these creatures are. I just call them the sand creatures that live under the dust on the surface of the moon. Look up a sand dollar. That's what they remind me of. Look up a sand dollar. And that's how they look. And they have eyes, a mouth, a nose, and they wiggle around like this. That's all I seen on the moon. After I seen that, instantly I came back. So those are the two experiences that I had. And again, as a disclaimer, I'm not taking this from nowhere. I didn't read about this nowhere, and I don't care if nobody believes me. I'm not doing this to gain anything. You have to ask yourself, what would I be gaining from making this up? This actually happened to me. Let me read some of the messages. The moon is not a hologram. Somebody said that the moon is a hologram. The moon is not a hologram. Now, I know what I'm saying. It goes against a lot of the stuff that you probably read somewhere. The moon is not a hologram. It is an actual, I told you, I experienced it. Now, if you want to believe it's a hologram without no firsthand account, then that's on you. I'm not saying this to make you believe me or to make you stop believing what it is you already believe. I don't care. It's no sweat off me. It's no dirt off my back. So take it or leave it alone. I mean, you could say it's crazy, it's weird. I don't care. But that's what it is. And that brings me into another subject. Days after that event, I spent a lot of time pondering, right? It was almost like 2 days I didn't even go anywhere. Because when something like this happens to you, it just opens your mind up. And mind you, I don't do drugs. I didn't take no hallucinogenic. I wasn't inebriated. I don't drink. I don't smoke weed. None of that. I don't do acid. None of those things. So this was just me being shown like God opened this up for me. Basically, he showed me the reality of this thing that we live in. So days later, after I had came back, I'm gonna tell you how I was feeling. I was laying on my bed one morning, and I like to hear birds sing in the morning because I feel like birds are communicating. And I feel like when you listen to birds chirp, you can kind of make out what they're saying. When you just tune in to the chirping sounds, even crickets at night, when they be making those chirping noises. So it was early in the morning, right? And I was saying to myself, I was like, man, don't nothing mean anything. And I was just thinking to myself, I was like, even telling people stuff don't mean anything. I was like, even me having the left side of the brain channel don't mean anything. I said, because ultimately, this experience that I had, it was shown to me and nobody else. And I already knew that when I came back to tell people, nobody would believe me. They're going to say, oh, that's some bullshit. What is he smoking? So I was laying on my bed. I was saying to myself, like, Nothing means anything. You know what I'm saying? It's like everything that I receive is for the benefit of myself. Because ultimately, that's what it is. So as I continue to think about it, that's where I got the title for the second part of tonight's message, feeding the need. Now, when I say feeding the need, what am I speaking about? When I say feeding the need, I am speaking about the ego. Everything that we call sin is what makes people stay alive. You live because of sin. The light, like I said in one of the red light editions, the light is what thrives vanity, egotism. Because again, when I was outside of the light during that astral projection experience, when it was just me in that darkness, I didn't have no ego. I was just out there by myself. I wasn't in competition with anybody. You see? And in a way, I didn't want to come back. But you know what made me come back ultimately? My ego. Your ego is what tells you that you haven't completed your life journey. Your ego is what tells you that you have some unfinished business to handle in this world. Your ego is telling you that. Your ego is what drives you to get up in the morning to compete with everything and everybody else. Because that's what I was asking. Like, I was saying to myself, God must be very lonely. But that's because I was saying that from an egotistical standpoint. Because we are so used to being validated by others that when we don't have other people around us, we feel lonely. You don't really feel lonely. Lonely really means nobody is here validating me. Nobody is here validating my existence, so I need them in order to feel like something. So that's why in that astral projection experience, I said that to myself. I said, God must be very lonely. Because I was thinking of it based upon me being in this world, surrounded by people, competing with people. Like when you look at people in your everyday life, imagine a chessboard. Everybody is like a piece on a chessboard. It's a game. You strategizing, you moving around because everybody is in competition. Competition is based in egotism. Existence is based in egotism. Everything that we do is based in the appetites of our fleshly body. We get hungry. We want to have sex. We lust after things. We want this. We want that. And that's what makes people want to keep coming back. That's why a person don't want to die, because not wanting to die, it comes from an addiction of the desires of the flesh. And these desires can never be fulfilled. You can never eat enough food in this lifetime. You can never drink enough water in this lifetime. You're going to keep getting thirsty. You're going to keep getting hungry. You're going to keep lusting after females. You're going to keep wanting the next car that comes out, the next pair of Jordans that come out. It never ends. You see? But when I was outside of my body during that astral projection experience, none of that mattered. I wasn't out there with nobody. So I didn't have anybody to impress. The information that I had, nobody gave that to me. God showed me that. You know? And That's why I say I don't care if you believe me or not, because it was shown to me. You see what I'm saying? And so weeks after that, well, days rather, I kept pondering about it. Like, I was saying to myself, like going into crowds of people, like it meant absolutely nothing because everybody's like just walking around in their own world, you know, fulfilling their own desires. And that experience, it just highlighted all of those things that I already knew. It highlighted it even more for me. It made it more plain to let me know that darkness is the only thing that exists. Darkness is reality in its truest, realest form. Darkness. It don't need anything to validate it. It doesn't need anything to exist. It don't need light to exist. You see, on this planet, everything on this planet needs something to exist. You know, plant life needs sunlight. You need water. Darkness, it needs nothing. It don't even need light. Just darkness. When you look up in the night sky, what you're looking at is God. You are looking at omniscience. You are looking at the omnipotent. You are looking at everything. You are looking at the Alpha and the Omega, because darkness is infinite. It has no beginning. It has no end. It has no height. It has no width. It has no shape. It exists, and you can't put it in a box. Okay? That is the truest definition of God. It is the Most High. You can't get no higher than the darkness. When you look up, that is the Most High. You see what I'm saying? And the more I think about it, darkness exposes everything, right? Everything gets exposed in the darkness. Just like just like a just like a photo developing room, right? Pictures develop in the dark. The truth comes out in the dark. Somebody left a comment, and y'all, I read those comments. Somebody left a comment saying that things get exposed in the dark, that people are their real selves in the dark. If somebody is a freak, they will do it in their bedroom. In the darkness, the truth comes out. If you a closet homosexual, you do it in the closet. That's why they say come out of the closet. The darkness knows. You come out in the light, you come into the streets, you come into the public venue, you on your job, you at your school, acting like you something else. But in the darkness, it comes out. Everything comes out in the darkness. It knows everything. You can't hide from it. You can hide from a light. Can't hide from the darkness. Because everything gets exposed. Light has limitations. A beam of light can only go but so far. You shine a flashlight, it can't go but so far. 20 feet ahead of you, and then what? Then it dims. It's not like that with darkness. It's infinite, it's eternal, and it has no end. All right? And that's why I look at silence as one of the positive aspects of darkness as a metaphysical concept. Your darkness is the only thing about you. Thomas Sheridan. You see? Somebody just left a comment. I didn't know somebody else said that. She said something about silence and darkness. They was making a connection. And that's why people, they fear people like myself who talk like this, because darkness also represents mystery. And that's one thing they fear. Most people, most people have a fear of the dark. And like I said, the reason why people are afraid of the dark, because they have some things inside of them that they haven't worked out. They have some things, hidden things in their life that they feel some type of repercussion is going to come to them for something that they did. That's why darkness uh, makes people feel that way. Okay, because people have things inside of their life, and if somebody walking and you around the corner and you say "boo," they get afraid. You think they just jumping like that because you startled them. That's not what it is. It's things in their mind that's making them do that. In their subconscious mind, they saw something on TV. They saw a ghost movie. They saw a National Geographic uh, show about a jaguar coming out of the woods and jumping on somebody. They seen something, and when you said "boo," it just brought it up out of them. You see what I'm saying? So those things are just hidden inside of people in their subconscious. You can't separate your subconscious mind from your everyday mind. Only thing you can do is suppress the subconscious, and at certain moments, your subconscious mind will come out. Like when you make somebody mad, what they was feeling about you, it will come out of their subconscious. They'll say it. Oh, I never liked you anyway. Ah, so now you telling me, yeah, that's how they always felt anyway. They never liked you anyway. It's just in their subconscious mind. And again, the subconscious, the darkness, you see, it's in the basement. The basement is dark. In the subconscious mind, in the dark mind, like the dark web, that's where all of the things are stored that you don't want nobody to know about. That's where your realest self lives, in that dark basement. Things that you keep hidden that you don't want nobody to know about except you and yourself. But guess what else? God knows. The darkness knows. You can't get away from it. Give me 1 second. You see? See? Some things we just know instinctively. You know? Some things we know instinctively. Like everybody knows that there is something greater, whether they want to admit it or not. If you came face to face with a lion, you would know that you were not the alpha in that situation. You just know it instinctively. So the same thing as it relates to God, whether you're an atheist or not, if the right situation occurs in your life, you will instinctively yell for help. If you didn't really believe in God, you wouldn't even yell for help. That's how I know there's really no such thing as an atheist. The fact that you yell for help, and if you was in a situation, let's say if you was locked in the back of a trunk, you would instinctively close your eyes and go inside yourself, and you would begin to pray for something that you know is greater than you instinctively. Now, you can lie to yourself, you can pretend that you wouldn't do that, but you would do that. I would do that, you would do that. Let's just be real. Because there is a higher power, whether you want to believe it or not. So all of this stuff I speak about on this channel is real. That great falling away, because the information that I tell you, that's because I still have that instinctive knowledge inside of me. That instinctive knowledge that goes back to that time of the great falling away. So give me a second. Give me a second. And I'm going to open up the phone lines right now. I'm going to open up the phone lines. Give me 1 second. All right. The call-in number 302-409-0355. I'm about to put that in the chat right now. All right. I just put the call-in number. It's area code 302-409-0355. 302-409-0355. That's the call-in number. 302-409-0355. You can call in. Everybody gonna hear you. You can be live. Now, as I was saying, I'll keep speaking till someone calls in. This world, see, the more I grow in this knowledge, man, I realize that, you see, the only thing that can occur, like the more you live, only two things going to happen. You're going to become more and more like them, because habits are formed The more you repeat things, the more solidified you become in those things. Or you're going to do like me. You're going to take the left side of the brain route, and then you're going to grow out of the situation. And then you either going to become more like them, or you're going to separate and end up by yourself. Ultimately, self is the ultimate destination. Darkness again. So even if you don't believe in God, right, you still got to go into a dark grave. They're going to put you in a dark grave, a dark coffin, because ultimately, I'm already rehearsing myself for the ultimate fact of everything, darkness. You see, before I came into this world, I came through darkness, in the womb of darkness, through your mother's womb. And darkness is the greatest teacher, because darkness teaches you that nothing matters. Because in the darkness, you don't see any imperfections and you don't see any perfections. The only thing you see is visible darkness. It teaches you everything. You see, and it teaches you that being egotistical. We got a caller.
Dragon Ball Z. To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Dragon Ball Z, you on live. This is Left Side of the Brain. Let me make this one statement that I was saying. Then I'm gonna let you speak.
Okay.
All right. I was saying, ultimately, darkness teaches you that nothing matters. Nothing exists other than darkness. So this light is just a rehearsal to that ultimate fact. I kind of got off. I lost my train of thought, but state your name.
Yeah, this is Dragon Ball Z. What's up, Left? How you doing, man?
Hey, how you doing? Are you on the channel? I've seen you comment a few times.
Yeah, I have. No, but I really I like your channel, and I think you have a wide perspective about reality, and you make a lot of good points that I do agree with. But I do have a question in regards to this darkness.
Okay.
And I wrote it down here. I'm gonna read it for you. All right.
Okay.
And I'll take the answer over the phone, over the line.
Okay.
Okay, you ready? It's a two-part question. All right, it's a two-part question.
Yeah, I'm ready.
If this whole reality is an illusion,
the
illusion is created. It's created like in the Matrix movies, in a white room, by a so-called architect. Then wouldn't darkness also be an illusion created in what we call space? And wouldn't that wouldn't space be the only real thing that exists?
All right, don't hang up.
So that's my two-part.
Let me address that first. Let me address that. Now, how long have you been watching this channel?
I'd say maybe about 2 months, maybe.
Okay. Have you ever heard me say this thing right here? I say that darkness is the only thing that you cannot make a substitute for. It's no such thing as artificial darkness. Now, when you're talking about an illusion is something that's made to appear like it's real. Like you can have, if you go into a mirror house, you can see the light bending and making your face look oblong, triangular, a big wide smile. You ever been in a funny house of mirrors? You can do that. You can do that with the light because it is in an illusion. It's in an illusion. It's an illusionary. What's the word I want to use? It's an illusionary transference of a lower form of energy. because it can be shaped, it can be bent. But if you went into that same mirror house and you turned the lights out, you would see everything for how it really is. Your face wouldn't bend. You wouldn't have no wide smile in any of the mirrors because there would be no light bending and refracting to your eyes. You would see everything how it was since the beginning of time.
Yeah,
And
still a mirror house.
yeah, but
It would still be a mirror house, which includes space, correct?
okay, the mirror house, yes, space. See, this is the thing about space. Space only seems like it's space because you are in a body. If you was outside of your body, there would be no such thing as space. See, space itself is really just, see, this is what you, space is a prison, like a box. If you took a box that has four corners and you put a turtle in it, you created an artificial space, but you really created a prison. But outside of that box, there is no four corners to space, actually, like the darkness. It's like expanding. You can't put darkness itself in a box and shut it up. You get what I'm saying? Like, go ahead.
So, okay, but wouldn't a better theory be that this darkness exists in a created box which has space?
No, because I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna ask you this question. You cannot. This how you can answer that for yourself. You cannot create darkness. So therefore, it is not an illusion because you cannot create it. That's why when you go,
Space? Would space be able to be created?
space is a dividers okay. When you say space, if you take your hand, right? You look on the screen. I might be lagging, but right now on my screen, I see my hand up. If I take my hand and close it like a fist, I created a space within my fist. But it's just an artificial space. Let's just say if I was holding an ant inside of my fist, I created a space inside of a space that you can't put in a fist. But the ant, if he's just stuck in his fist, that's all he knows. Because I'm the one clenching my fist, but outside of my fist is a space that no man can clench and put all of the darkness that exists inside of his fist. You get what I'm saying? It's like okay,
that's what I'm saying. Maybe we're ants inside of that space.
That's what we are. That's what we are. We are inside of a body. Listen.
We're like ants.
Exactly.
In that space that you've created.
Dragon Ball Z. We are insignificant ants in this world. But outside of your body, there is no such thing as time and space. Outside of your body, there's
all I know is this. Darkness cannot exist without space.
no.
So I would say space rules the darkness.
Space is darkness, but you have
without no space, there's no darkness.
You say without no space, space and darkness is synonymous to each other. It's space and darkness is synonymous to each other.
You're saying they're the same thing. It can't be.
Yes. You ever heard of synonyms? Have you ever heard of a synonym?
You're saying they're equal to each other?
No. I'm gonna explain this, then I'm gonna let you go to your next question. I'm gonna make this as clear as I can. Okay. You cannot create artificial darkness. Correct? No such thing as artificial darkness.
Correct.
You agree with that, right?
I agree with that.
Okay. The artificial darkness is infinite. It's been here since forever. There is no such thing as artificial darkness, and anything that's created inside of the darkness is what we are calling space. Inside of the space, like a box, a cardboard box has a space within it based upon the measurements inside of the box. But outside of the box, it's the infinite space. You get what I'm saying? So darkness has always been here with that infinite space that has already been here. Is you can't create it, you can't recreate it, you can't make it better, you can't make it worse. It is what it is. That's what I'm saying. But everything else, you get what I'm saying? Everything else you can tweak. You can tweak lights. You can tweak the heat in your house. You can tweak everything else, but with darkness, you can't tweak it. It is what it is. That's what I'm saying. Now, what was your next question?
No, the other question was part of it was like if sort of like if it was the darkness which was in his space, then wouldn't the space be the only real thing? That was the other part of the question.
Yes.
Instead of the darkness.
Yeah.
You answer that.
Yeah.
You got it clear.
Okay, I got it clear now.
Like you're saying it's synonymous. I think I'm clear now.
Yeah. Okay, then, man. Thanks for calling in. You got any more questions? Anything else you want to say?
No, that's all, man. Thanks a lot. Good content, by the way.
All right, Dragon Ball. Keep supporting the channel, man, and support the Patreon.
Okay.
All right, man. Take care.
All right.
All right. Peace. All right. Hey, I like that question though, man. I like people to challenge me because you're not challenging me. Because one thing about me, none of this is me saying this. You see, I don't have no patent or copyright on the truth. You see what I'm saying? Like, but I like his question. You see what I'm saying? Like he was talking about darkness and wouldn't it be an illusion? No. Darkness cannot be created. It can't be destroyed. None of that. You can't go in your bathroom and flick the darkness off. You turn the lights on, but the darkness is still there. You can't get rid of it. Your light bulb can blow. You can blow the candle out, but darkness will always be there. It's like the soul of everything. You know, God is black. Darkness is darkness. It's the soul of everything. That's what I'm saying. And it's nothing that you can get away from. And on this channel, what I teach is, before he called, I was saying something. And I want to get it correct what I was saying. Like darkness, say if everybody was in a room, right? And you turn the lights out, darkness would hide your imperfections and it would hide your perfections. Anything that you thought was better than the next person, in the lights, when the lights are out, none of it exists. And you would just have to deal with consciousness. You will have to feel your way through the room. Like when the lights are out, that's when you get more spiritual because you're not relying upon your physical means to navigate through this world. Like when you turn the lights out, you can't see with your eyes. So other senses have to heighten. Your hearing has to heighten. Your inner hearing has to heighten. Your sense of judgment, it has to heighten. Everything will heighten in the darkness because it reveals your true self. If you put everybody in a room and turn the lights out, nobody could judge anybody. You wouldn't know what race somebody was. You see what I'm saying? Everybody would be exactly the same. Because that's how it began anyway. Everything began in the darkness. everybody would be the same. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I say the light creates vanity, it creates competition, it creates egotism, it creates illusions, like the caller was speaking about. Light does all of these things. We got false lights. The Bible speak about people coming like they angels of light, but really they false lights. But you can't come as a false darkness. You get what I'm saying? That's why when somebody lied to me, I appreciate it. Because I don't expect a liar to be anything but a liar. See, if a liar tells you the truth, they are really lying because they are liars. So when they're trying to be honest, that's not who they really are. You see what I'm saying? At that moment, you might think they're an honest person. But even in honesty, a person can use honesty to deceive you. Because if a person is crooked, that's why words are like light. Sounds and things that's emitted that you can hear. You can deceive people with those type of things. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of like the darkness. When you turn the lights on, that's when deception starts. Because you seeing things, people like card tricks and all this type of stuff. Like card tricks and all of this type of stuff. You see these things and you say to yourself, nobody can trick you if darkness was all that there was. Nobody can do a card illusion trick on you. You see, lights create illusions. You get what I'm saying? So, like I was saying, words. People, like I say, most of the words people say to you is just deception. Most times people talking to you, and I practice this with females a lot. Like when you're dealing with women, like don't worry about what she say. Concentrate on her actions. If you and her supposed to get together on the weekend and she texting you, oh yeah, we're gonna have a good time. Don't listen to any of that. Wait till the weekend come to see if she gets with you or not. That's how you got to communicate with people, because words are like lights. They can create illusions. Like the analogy I gave about a liar saying some truth, but really he just saying that to lure you in. That's why I appreciate liars. I like people, if you a liar, lie to me all the time. Because that's who you really are. You see what I'm saying? So, um, once again, I'm opening up the phone lines. Let me put it up here. I'm gonna open up the phone line again. Hold up. Yeah. How y'all enjoying it? Call in, let me know. Got any questions? Anything you disagree with? Anything you want to add? Now is the time to do it. Where all those people will be commenting at. Even the haters, call in. A lot of people be talking about, I don't agree with this left side, but you know what? They don't contest. They don't do it live. I want to see if you can do it live. Call in with whatever you have. Let me get the call in number again. All right. Call in number is 302-409-0355. Now, so feeding the need, right? Sin is the fuel for everything that you do. We got a caller.
Neo.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Left side of the brain, how you doing?
What up, man?
Can you hear us? Anything?
Yeah,
Yeah, state your name.
it's Neo.
All right. What you got to say tonight, Neo?
Shit, I've always been kind of interested with Native Americans and their culture and stuff.
Okay.
And I've always been curious as to.
Wait, Neo, let me ask you a question. Before you even say anything, Neo, can you hear me loud and clear on the live stream?
Nah, because I'm on. I had to turn it off to call you.
Oh, but when you was listening,
I was looking at it on my phone.
but when you was listening, was I loud and clear? Can you? Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. But because for some reason I'm not seeing the live chats on my Google Hangout, but I have to see it from my phone. So
Right.
I was just wondering about that. But what was your question again?
No, yeah, it was good. Now I was just curious, what your take or any thoughts you had on Native Americans, like their culture, because they're like in modern history some of the most spiritual groups of people, and then they kind of got colonized and they got stomped out, and we don't know much about them really. But I've kind of been drawn to them. I'm just curious if you can kind of maybe put some pieces of my puzzle together.
Well, this is what I can say about that. What did I say? Have you been following this channel? Anything that fire can get rid of, it wasn't spiritual in the first place. Do you remember me saying that?
Yeah, the elements.
Yeah. So if fire can consume you and get rid of you, you wasn't spiritual in the first place, or you would still be here. So groups of people,
It's true, man.
you know what I'm saying? Like groups of people who have died out,
Yeah.
groups of people who have died out and all of that, they wasn't the ones, or they would still be here. And we talking about darkness, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's only one group of people that you can't wipe out. What group of people is that?
Us.
Who is us?
Say what?
Who is us?
United States.
Exactly. It's only one group of people that cannot be wiped out. The truth cannot be destroyed. So,
Right.
and the truth is that darkness is the only thing that really exists. Because
Right.
if a nuclear bomb went off right now, let's just say if you took all of the planets out of the universe, let's just say all of them just exploded, what would still be left?
What was there to begin with?
Darkness. Darkness. And it exists. It is like, it is the conscious mind. You see what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's all that really exists. Like everything in this world that we are doing is egotistical.
Oh yeah.
Everything is egotistical, man. It's like, man, people don't even love people, Neo.
Oh, I know.
Love is based off of ego, man. It's like, if it's not unconditional, then it's not love. I don't accept anything that's not unconditional and call it love. The only unconditional love is like the sun. Like it shines down upon everybody. You can't give nothing back to the sun. You can't give nothing back to the raindrops.
One-sided, yeah.
Yeah, it's a one-sided deal. Yeah, it's like, but for a man and woman to get together, like you got to give her some good dick. She got to give you some good pussy. You got to do something. You know what I'm saying? You got to do something in the arrangement to keep it going. But you don't have to water. Yeah, you don't have to water the clouds for the clouds to rain. Like that's why, like everything, man, is just based in lust, ego, and that's it. It's like everything is just based in sin, man. Without sin, which is ego, ego is the base of all sins. So really, we live for sin because everything in this body is based upon competition, competing with the next person, competing with yourself, looking in the mirror, straightening your hair up, and all of that. If you was in the darkness, you wouldn't even straighten your hair up. It wouldn't even matter. You will look in a dark mirror. It's nothing, like I said in this live stream. Darkness, it covers up your imperfections and it covers up your perfections. Like when you're dealing with just true information and you strip unconditionally.
Yeah.
And that's why I say like darkness don't need validation. And all of this is not just empty rhetoric, because all of this goes along with everything that I'll be saying, living for yourself and not for others. Like darkness is like living for yourself because you don't care about what other people see about you because it's dark to you. Like they just darkness. It don't even matter. Like when they bury us, man, a week from after we buried, nobody gonna even care, man. People who was buried 10,000.
I stopped living trying to appease people, man, because I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, man.
So fuck that. Just start trying to leave a legacy and all that shit, man.
I'm gonna tell you this too. Life is in the darkness. When you inhale, what does that air go to keep you alive? It goes up it goes up through your dark nostrils.
Right.
And you inhale it in the darkness of your organs. Everything is taking place in the darkness. Air doesn't care about how you look when you inhale or exhale. You can be the ugliest thing on earth. It doesn't matter about you get what I'm saying? It don't matter about the shape of your nose.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? It don't matter about the shape of your nose, what kind of clothes you got on. It's just darkness, like just going, like you just inhaling through some dark nostrils. That's all that matters, man. Air connecting to your brain, oxygen keeping you conscious. That's it. Like you can be kept conscious in the darkness. You don't know about how you look and competition and all of that type of stuff when you're in a coma. When you're in a coma, that's the rawest example of what everything is about. You're just laying on the table, existing because they keeping you alive on a machine, and you just breathing, inhaling, and exhaling. Don't even know you in the room. Don't even know you there. You just inhaling and exhaling. The air is going to keep going as long as they keep you on that machine. And that's what it boils down to,
The
man.
air is like the IV.
Yeah, it's like the IV.
Like the IV, bro.
Yeah. And it doesn't care about your color, your race, your gender. It's just that neutral. It's like this, man. When we dead, they say that death is the great equalizer. Because everybody who died, they go back to the same substance of nothingness. And everybody gonna separate, man. Like everybody separates and go back into their darkness, man. Because when we come out into the light, we just come out in a costume anyway. Every day we step outside out of our house, we in a costume.
Yeah, that's what I look at it now as it's just I'm in a fucking giant warehouse of mirrors, bro. So I don't even get surprised by
Yeah.
the shit nowadays.
I don't either,
It's
man.
so ridiculous at this point.
It's ridiculous.
So, like,
And that's why I use the Jaguar mascot, because it represents darkness.
yeah, I fuck with that, by the way.
Yeah.
I fuck with that.
Yeah. Hey man, anything else you want to say? Any more questions?
I do have a couple more.
Go ahead.
This one, for us, I don't know if I would like to hear your perspective, because I feel like I'm probably not the only one that thought this or has this question, or would like to hear you speak on this. But like good careers, because okay, I'm at the point where I'm like, I'm not gonna go completely AWOL.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to get into a field that's gonna, keep me sane, but like let me live comfortably. So just like good careers for us.
Hey man.
Like jobs, like stuff like that, like good field. You know what I mean?
I'ma just say, man.
I definitely want to be self-employed at one point, but
hey, as long as you get money, I'm at this point, man. Any way you get money, it don't even matter. As long as you pay your bills, keep a roof over your head, keep your lights on in the house. Far as your career, you just got to go with what your passion is. Because if you're doing anything outside of your passion, it's going to feel like you're doing it for somebody else and not for yourself. And again, that falls in line with what we say, living for yourself and not for others. When you're just working a job, you're making somebody else rich, so you're living for them and not for yourself. So it goes back to that motto that we have, living for yourself and not for others. So I would suggest that you follow your heart, because your heart will never lead you wrong. I mean, you know what it is that you want to do. You see what I'm saying? And it was already encoded inside of us to be what we're going to be. Like you can't help how tall you are, how your voice sound, the color of your eyes, all of that stuff was already predestinated.
I feel that.
Yep.
I feel that. I've one more kind of, it's not really a question, it's more of a statement, but like something that I've recently adopted, which has a lot to do with a lot of things you've spoke on, but just like I have like a warrior like mentality, because it really is war out here.
Right.
Like every waking moment, I'm like putting myself in that jaguar like mind state.
Yeah.
Because it's like hardened me. You know what I mean?
Well,
just having to live in this world and know it's like constant battle is what I'm saying.
The best way to get out of that mindset is once you start saying to yourself that I don't need a validation from other people, that's when you feel freedom.
Oh yeah, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I don't care about what they think about me.
Yeah.
I'm just protecting myself and living, trying to live for myself.
Yeah, man. Like
all the ties they try to wrap you up in.
Well, that's just it just goes with the program, man. This is a hollow deck. You ever heard of the hollow deck?
Yeah, I remember talking about that.
Yeah, yeah, it's from Star Trek. It's the hollow deck is a simulation storybook, and on the Star Trek ship they had a That's basically how their entertainment was. They would go into this storybook, and the characters of the storybook live themselves out inside of the holodeck. And you go in there and you interact with the storybook. So basically, if you look at life like that and just understand that it's a storybook, and I really do that sometimes. Like I be walking around and I be saying to myself, this is just a 3D movie. And really, man, if you walk around during the day and don't speak to nobody, nobody will even fuck with you. Just yeah, if you just went on a if you just went on the top of a building and just had a pair of binoculars and just started looking at everybody, it would be no different than watching a reality TV show. For real, you just start looking at people, looking at women, looking at cars go up and down the street on top of a 10-story building with a bag of chips and some water and just stay up there every day. It would be no different than a television show.
Pretty much. Just fucking shit show.
Yeah. It's not until let me get this other caller, all right?
You good?
All right, Neo.
All right. Peace now.
Peace.
Call from.
Oh, seriously.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2. I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Your caller just hung up. Press 2 to call unknown caller. I'm sorry that you're having trouble.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Neo for calling. The caller who just called, call back in. We lost your call. Call back in. Yeah, that was a good convo that we had. Yeah, man, this whole darkness thing, man. It's it keeps you sane, man. When you that darkness mentality, it filters out all of the light. The light is the illusion. It filters out all of the unnecessary things, because what's necessary in life is food, water, and air. That's it. And sunlight. Sunlight, food, air, and water. Once you start living with those basic concepts of survival and you grab hold to like the living for yourself and not for others and those type of doctrines that we teach, life will be much smoother. And like I was telling him, Neo, follow your passion. Left side of the brain, speak.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Hey, left side of the brain, who we speaking to tonight?
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, what's your name?
This is Truth Warrior.
Who?
Truth Warrior.
Oh, how you doing, man? I think I spoke with you before. What's good?
Yeah, I spoke to you on Instagram before, bro.
Yeah, I remember. What you got to say to us tonight?
I got just two quick questions.
Okay.
One, have you heard of? Have you been keeping up with this controversy? I don't know if you know a YouTuber called Nature Boy.
Okay. Yeah, I think yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah, the dude that's out in the woods.
Yeah, the dude out in the woods.
Yeah.
He has his own kind of like tribe thing going on.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second, True Warrior. Okay.
All right.
Hold on. All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, like I was saying, have you heard of you know, the holographic universe and all that kind of stuff. But I was wondering, like, what do you think it matters to get in tune with nature, or is that still just part of the, you know, the illusion?
All right. So your question is from the caller. He asked me about somebody on YouTube. State that person's name.
I think right now he calls himself Eligio the Christ, but his name is like Nature Boy. That's what everybody calls him.
Okay. So the caller just asked me about someone on YouTube called Nature Boy. Now, me, I don't be following people on YouTube like that. I'm doing what I'm doing. I don't, you know, be thinking about what other people doing. But he asked me a question. And what's your question? Is it necessary for?
My question was, is it important for people to get back in tune with nature?
Is it important to? Basically, is it important for us to move into the woods?
Yeah, or to live a more natural lifestyle, because you know that like living in America and like this whole system that we got set up isn't the natural way that, you know, it goes against nature basically.
All right, I'm gonna say this now. Any person, you can do what you want to do now, but you don't have to be out in the woods to live in nature. I'm gonna tell you why. Because your physical body is nature. Your physical body is just like the world that you live in. The world is 70% water. Your body is 70% water. The world is covered by grass. Your body is covered by hair. You have all of the minerals in the soil are also in your body. That's why you need water, because you are just like a plant. So you are nature. So you already living in nature. As long as your spirit is still in your body, as long as your soul is still in your body, you are living in nature, because your body, it came out of nature. And when you die, you return to the soil. So just you right now are living in the woods because you're still alive, because your soul is in your body. So you are living in nature. Even if you're in a high-rise building in New York City, you're still living in nature because your body is natural. You're not made out of plastic, are you? Hello?
Okay, can you hear me?
No, I didn't hear you. You went out for a second. I said you're not made out of plastic, are you?
No.
All right, so you living in nature. You a physical body. You made of physical components. So your soul is still in your body, of course, because you're talking to me on the phone right now. You 70% water. So you got minerals in your body. You got iron. You got magnesium. You got calcium. All of the things that are found like in limestone. Limestone has calcium in it. You got calcium in your body. Your body network is nature. So as long as you got a soul, you get what I'm saying? Like, as long as you got a soul in your body, you are living in nature. You got air that you breathe, just like the wind that's in nature. So you, just by being alive, you living in nature. That's what I'm saying. So like following somebody in nature and trying to live outside of everybody else, but yet you are on live stream every day, that's still living amongst everybody else. I take it this person, he has to have some type of funding, right? Hello? Hello? Yeah, you sound like you're going out, man. Yeah, we lost the caller. He was saying something about living in nature. Maybe he'll call back. But I'm living in nature right now. You know what living in nature is? Living in the truth of everything that I've been saying tonight. That's living in nature. Because you can go out in the woods and be violating everything about nature. You can go out in the woods and still be living in violation, doing unnatural sex acts in the woods. But because I'm in the woods doing it, does that mean I'm living in nature? No. Living in nature is following the truth, understanding how things operate, like the things I speak about on this channel, understanding the essence of life. You can be out in the woods and not know these things. So what difference does it make whether I'm sitting on this couch or out in the jungle somewhere? Living in the jungle, it don't make you better than nobody. You know, that's how religious people think. Like they put on religious attire, dress a certain way. You know, you can be a Muslim woman with your face covered. That don't make you righteous. Because it's what matters is your heart. You see what I'm saying? It's not about living in the woods, living in a high-rise building, living in a White House. None of that don't matter. That's not living in nature. Living in nature is living in the truth. You see what I'm saying? Like, the truth is, in this world, hold on.
To accept, press 1.
Left side of the brain. Speak to us.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Super Ninja Kenny 3, and this is my second time calling on your channel. And the first time we were talking about, who created, like, who created this bottle. And you might not remember, but you probably would, like, who created this plastic bottle. Then, I piggyback off of that and told you about,
Who created what?
Remember, you asked the question, like, who could tell me that, who created this, like, plastic bottle? Like, you raised it to the, like...
Oh, yeah. So the caller is saying he asked a question once about who created a plastic bottle. Okay, keep going.
Okay, yeah, I was talking about the great alien and about, like, the technology that they possess. And now, I was, like, bringing up, like, now, about the moon, you said, like, now, somebody said it was an illusion, but it's not really that. It's, like, artificial. And it's created by these aliens. Now, we're saying the Draco reptile. Now, these reptiles, they are very real, but people don't want to get it. Now, when you brought up about the tunnels, now, you are correct. Now, there are underground tunnels. Now, you got these reptilians. They're descent from dinosaurs. They're like, they came from dinosaurs. Now, they walk on two legs like us. So they're very powerful. Now, us as humans, we fragile. We can't compare to these, they call anthropomorphic, like animal-like creatures that walk on 2 feet like us, got 2 arms like us, but they got animalistic, properties, features. Way big powerful, man. So people don't understand that. Man.
What's your question?
Now, you got beings like that.
You got a question?
Like.
So let me repeat some of the things to the viewers, because they probably couldn't hear everything you were saying. Okay, we got a caller. What's your name?
Super Ninja Kenny 3. That's my legal name.
All right, his YouTube name is Super Ninja Kenny 3. And he was saying that the moon is artificial. It was created by, you said, reptilians that walk around, and they call anthropomorphic.
Yeah, Draco. What? Yeah, the Draco reptilian. That's different than like the reptile on Earth. The reptile on Earth, they're like like a lizard.
Yeah.
The Draco, they're like a dragon. They're like a dragon, like dragon type. It's different than the reptiles on Earth. Because the reptiles on Earth, the reptilians, they came they originate from the Earth. But the Draco reptilians, they come on like another star seed, like from another planet. They got the wings and like a dragon type.
Okay, and how does this relate to what we're saying?
Now, how it relate? Well, I'll just bring that up. I just want pass along the information. Now, my question. I was thinking okay. So I was thinking about man, I know you're saying okay.
Oh, let me address something you said though. Let me address something you said. Now, I don't like people to say things that I don't address. he brought up something about some Draco reptilians, right? Now, I'm asking you this question. If that is real, what does that have to do with like 100 years ago, right? People died, right? They died not knowing the truth, right?
Yeah.
So they died in ignorance, right? But they probably never even seen what you was talking about, some winged creature, a reptilian. They never faced that. They never faced that in their life. What they had to face was these human prison bars. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, that stuff you saying, it's good information, but in real time, like we living right now, have you seen one of those in your lifetime?
Have I seen one of them? Well, no.
All right, you said no.
No.
That's enough. Hold up.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not trying to argue. I'm just making a point. You said you haven't seen one.
Okay.
But what you have seen in your lifetime is people backstabbing, people setting up things.
Yeah.
That's why I speak about the invisible war. It's not about what you see, it's about what's affecting you, like us versus them in the invisible realm. See, these creatures you're talking about, they're not going to come out and reveal themselves in the open like that because everybody would just panic. That's why I did the video. That's why I did a video called the illusion of difference. Because if they created everybody to look the same, we would know that we were robots. That's why they created people to look different, different sizes, different shapes, different personalities. So we'll feel like we are, so we would feel like we were significant because we were different than the other person. But really, difference doesn't mean that we are significant. It just means that it's an illusion to make us feel like we are not in this prison. So I'm saying all that to relate it to you that they're not going to reveal themselves, just like they didn't make all of us look the same, because it would be too open and blatant what it was about. The trick would be too open and blatant. So these things that you are speaking about, I'm not saying they don't exist. They maybe exist in shape-shifting form, but they're not going to come out looking like no big bat or no Dracula in front of everybody, because that would just pull the cover too much, and that'll make everybody run away from them. Because I'm gonna say one more thing. In nature, things disguise themselves. That's why you got camouflage on animals. That's why you see in his background, you see this leopard print. Because in nature, this leopard print allows the leopard to hunt its prey down. It's not going to come out in the spotlight like that. So these reptilian creatures, they're not going to reveal themselves like that. If they exist. You see, I'm not saying they don't exist, but that's not how they operate. You get what I'm saying?
Well, but yes, I understand. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but of course they won't reveal themselves right away because, like, we got these agendas. It's all about depopulation control. For example, they got the LGBT community. They want to, like you explain in the video. You talk about the video, like, well, they turn the kids gay. It's a agenda right there. They trying to turn these kids males to like other males, females like other females to decrease the population. They need the population down. Now these aliens, they're not human, but they want the population down so they have more control over the people. Now about like I never seen these creatures before. That's true, but like it's like when I was a kid, I go to a zoo and I really don't like zoos. I hate the zoo so bad. But when I was in the zoos, I see these animals up close, like these like cheetahs, like leopards, or like it's just amazing to look at these animals that exist. Like all these animals on Earth, the blue whale, you got the elephant, the shark, all these animals. It's amazing to look at now. Just imagine these animals are walking on 2 feet, like humanoids. It's even more amazing just to think about that. Like, man, just imagine if I see like a walking lizard on 2 feet. Like an elephant face, because got like a human body. But what you just said, just imagine it'd be more amazing to see these animals up close on Earth.
All right, brother. Hey, Jack.
So I know it exists. I know that these beings exist.
Jack.
But of course they're not going to reveal themselves.
Jack, let me make your point. What's your question? Give me a solid question so I can answer it.
Oh yeah, start with the question. Oh yeah, I was gonna get to it. So now I was like you said, like you know the video. She said, yeah, like life is pointless, it's worthless, and like and one day she said like we live because it's air and like I agree like it's pretty much pointless. Well, in society we kind of reshape you, but to me like I say like the society it makes you feel that way. It's like
what's your question? What's your question?
Oh, a question. I had an explanation, but a question. I really don't have. I just want to like explain stuff. I didn't know a question like just to ask you and you reply back.
All right. I'm gonna call back with a question, man. I'm gonna open up the phone lines for somebody else to call, but we appreciate you calling, man.
Oh, okay. I just want to explain, so I didn't know about the question.
No, it's all good. I'm gonna elaborate on some of the things you said because I don't know if they heard you. So I'm gonna open up the line for someone else, man. Thanks for calling, though.
Oh, okay.
All right, peace out. Peace. Yeah, that's a caller. Basically what he was saying was he was talking about reptilians and things like that. And I was just telling him that if those things exist, which I do believe those things do exist, they're not going to come out in the open in front of the whole world like that. You know what I'm saying? Everything, like I gave him the example of the leopard print, things in nature camouflage themselves. Spider webs are invisible. You see what I'm saying? Even being in a relationship, your emotions of attraction to the female, that's just a spider web to get the female pregnant. It's not about the love, because your mate that you so-called fell in love with, they can die the next day. They can die a month after they have that baby. Ultimately, it's just about bringing a life into this world to enslave, because every person that's born into this world, they are born into a fight for their soul. Because only two things that you can do: escape or be sucked into it. So everybody, when they are born, they are inheriting a fight. They are inheriting spiritual war. You are born into spiritual war. Everybody. So, relationships is just a spider web to get you caught up, because sex is not for recreation purposes. If sex was just for recreation purposes, you wouldn't nut when you have sex. Nature didn't create condoms. Every time you have sex, nature is trying to get you to impregnate a female. It's not for recreation. We do it recreationally because we have created condoms and we have birth control pills, which are unnatural. You see what I'm saying? But ultimately, it's to get the female pregnant. You see what I'm saying? Because all of this is just a prison. You get what I'm saying? Like, the woman you get pregnant, her soul is in a prison. And then you put a child inside of a prison, and their soul is inside of a prison. So you got a prison inside of a prison, and a prison giving birth to another prison body. So you have a prison body.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail.
Left side of the brain. You're not on speakerphone, are you?
I mentioned man and wife, and then she coming out shaking her butt with your husband. You think I should tell the husband, man?
Is this some kind of prank call or something?
No, man, ain't no freak call. I just took.
What'd you say?
yeah, my name, Jesse J, man. I mess with a man, wife, she come around shaking her butt when she be out there with her husband, man. You think I should tell her husband?
All right, man. Call back when you're serious, man. Yeah. We ain't got time for that foolishness. Somebody calling in and saying they Jesse James and all that. We ain't got time for all that foolishness. You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad. You know, some people don't have nothing better to do with their life. You know, they got to come and invade what we doing because we about serious matters. So I don't have time for that. You know, but again, it's a part of the secret wars. You know, us versus them. So that's a real time example of what's taking place out here. Let me look at some of the remarks in the chat. Still going strong. Call in. 302. Left side of the brain. Hope y'all enjoying it. We get this call in number back in. I just put the call in number up. 302-409-0355. 302-409-0355. This is left side of the brain. The realest hour, the darkest hour. This is left side of the brain. Yeah, man. I'm feeling good. Yes. Yeah, man. This type of information, it can put a damper on somebody because it goes against your ego, right? A lot of people be out here saying it's all about a family. You want to have a family and have children and heal the world. And how many people got to be born before you realize that people are not the solution? People are the problem. It's 7 billion people on this earth. It'll never be 7 billion people coming together as one. You can forget about it. How many years of existence on this planet must continue before something changes? Things do not change. They stay the same and they just morph into different scenery. Like you got the 60s look a certain way, the 70s, the way people dress, the music, the 80s, the dress, the music. But ultimately, it's the same. It's a prison. The illusion of difference. They making you think that the 60s is different from the 40s. They making you think that the 1920s is different from the 1800s, but it's all the same because ultimately the name of the game is getting somebody pregnant. The way people get pregnant, it doesn't change. So therefore, life is the same because it revolves around sex. It revolves around dick and pussy. It revolves around competition. That's what it revolves around. It revolves around territory, suppressing knowledge and information that can free people. I thought about that before. The way a man impregnate a woman, it doesn't change. So how is life any different from the time of Alexander the Greek to now? Alexander the Greek He had to impregnate women the same way we do today. So what's any different about then and now? It's no different because life is created in the womb the same way it was for Adam and Eve, like it is for us today. That's how you can realize that things has not changed. Yeah, we wear more modern clothes. We drive cars. They used to drive chariots. Instead of guns, they use spears. But it's the same concept. War is war. Fighting is fighting. Kings and serfs and slaves, it's the same thing. This thing has not changed. Truth does not change. And because truth does not change, the opposite of truth does not change. A lie does not change. A lie doesn't change the truth. Feel what I'm saying? So we up against the same thing, man. This type of information, it don't get old. It don't get old, man. The truth don't get old. And that's another way you know this life is a lie. It's an illusion because the illusions, they get old. A lie, it plays out. Once you tell somebody a lie and they figured out you lied to them, you can't tell them that same lie again. It plays out. But I can tell you the truth over and over and over again. It'll always be there to remind you. You can't erase what I'm saying. Truth is timeless. That's what somebody said. They had this tech. I'm going to tell you about this technology. Somebody said they had this technology in the 1700s. Man does not create any of these technologies. A caller tonight, he called in talking about the plastic bottle. If I put one of you in the woods by yourself and said, I'll give you 10,000 years by yourself to create a plastic bottle, you couldn't do it. I'm not talking about you Googling the information. I'm not talking about you going to the library to get the information. I give you 10,000 years to produce a plastic bottle. You cannot do it. Because everything that we given in this world is not the creation of man. You living inside of technology that somebody else created. All right, I'll bet you this. If I filled up the Cowboys stadium, right? And I started just raising up random objects and saying, who created this cell phone? Who invented the cell phone? I bet you wouldn't. Nobody in that 50,000 seat audience would raise their hand and say, I'm the one who created it. Because, man, we just utilize these things, but we not the ones who came up with it. This technology is outside of the knowledge capacity of man. Man can only do but so much. No man created no touchscreen telephone. I don't care what nobody say. You're not that smart. No man created no touchscreen telephone. And what they do is, this is how they trick us. They make it seem primitive. They create this primitive timeline of technology. So they'll pretend like a man created the horse buggy. And then it went from a horse buggy to putting a little canvas thing on the back of the horse buggy. And then it went from that, from wooden tires on a horse buggy to rubber tires. No, the creatures that created this stuff, this technology, they are like immortals. They don't die. They don't live in the same time and space that we do. So they live a long lifespan, and they release the technology like drips of water, filling up a bucket. So this is a metaphor. So they release a little technology at a time till the bucket is filled up. And you'll be thinking that, oh, look how we just advancing in technology and all of this. And because every year they changing cell phones, they adding features to the automobile. Every year they doing this, and you thinking that this is just man and his incredible knowledge doing this. No, this is not what it is. This is a illusion of difference that's taking place. Go back and look at that video I did called The Illusion of Difference. Because if they just put everything out so fast, number one, it will blow our minds because we couldn't adapt to it so suddenly like that. Like they put out the technology that they're going to put out for the year 2040, right now in 2019, we wouldn't know how to operate it. That's why they got to do it slowly, slowly, slowly. The same way they had a plan to like the LGBT thing that they do, like men marrying men, women marrying women. They couldn't put it out on us so suddenly. They had to desensitize us. They had to give it to us drip by drip by drip till they fill up the bucket and drown everybody in it. So that's how they doing with the technology. Like they getting us hooked to it. Like they give us the calculator, right? So that's a primitive form or a rudimentary form of computer technology. So we learning the Texas Instrument calculator, and then they'll put some more stuff on it. It's like building a sandwich. You see, they start out with the two little white slices of bread, and then they'll add us some turkey, and then they'll add some cheese, and then they add some lettuce, and then they add some tomatoes, and then they add oil and vinegar, and then they feed it to us like that. You see what I'm saying? Same way with this information. You got to baby. Sometimes you got to spoon feed people. Like me, myself, I didn't get all this information overnight because your brain is not developed enough as a child to hold a live stream. When I was 5 years old, I couldn't hold a live stream like I'm doing now because it's a process. So it's the same way with the technology that they give us. It's not coming from no man. This is something that's outer worldly, you know what I'm saying? Other dimensional type of thing we got going on. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, what they want to do, they want to stamp out the consciousness of right and wrong. That's the ultimate thing they're trying to do. They're trying to eliminate your free will. See, your free will is what makes you a creature of the divine. Your ability to differentiate right from wrong, that's what gives you your independence. But as you see, you got like this LGBT community and the feminist community, which is trying to reshape men from being men. See, I noticed something. All of these recent movements, like the Me Too movement, the LGBT movement, all of these recent movements, they are designed to eliminate right from wrong. They're just trying to create unnatural behavior and make it right. They're trying to change men from being men. And that's why when I'm in public, when I'm walking around men who, like, sometimes you can just look at a person and you'll automatically smile at them and you'll automatically say hey to them. And then you might walk past a person and you look at them, they look at you, and you recognize that you're not supposed to speak to this person. That happens to me sometimes. And I noticed that when it comes to men, I'll look at a male, right? And if me and him, we don't get along, when we look at each other for the first time, our spirits don't connect. And the reason why that is because he is on their side and he knows what side I'm on, just like I know what side he is on. We don't have to say anything because what's understood don't got to be said. You see what I'm saying? This happens to me a lot when I'm out in public. So even when it comes to that, they know what time it is. And man, that's right. All the phone lines are open. Anybody want to call in? Phone lines are open. Any questions or comments? Let us know. Yep. I don't even see how somebody can desire to want to have a baby. Like when you got truth like this and your eyes open up, if you still talking about you want to have kids, something is wrong with you. Something is wrong with you. Anybody that desires to have a child, it's something gotta be wrong with you, man. Like I even got family members with kids and stuff. I don't understand what to make a man. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I was fucking a girl before I did this tonight, around 8 something. Then I told her, I said, you gotta leave by 9. I said, I got a no, she was texting me and I text her back. I said, I'm gonna give you a heads up now. I got a live stream to do at 9 o'clock. I let her know. And she said, oh, I can just sit around on the side. And I said, no. I said, I'm gonna need privacy. So what I'm saying to you is when I was with that girl, in my mind, I'm saying to myself, I don't understand how a man can have sex with a woman and purposely say to himself, I want to get her pregnant. I want a kid. I want a son. I want a daughter. That's an evil thought, man. Why would you want to imprison somebody like that? Why would you want to bring somebody into this world like that? Everybody that's alive today, you are alive because somebody didn't know the truth about everything. And because they didn't know the truth, that's why people keep having babies and stuff. You see what I'm saying? And I notice men who are feminine and they don't see, when I say feminine, I mean like not knowing the truth. Not knowing the truth about things, to me, it makes you feminine. Because I notice men who be in the clique, they giggle a lot. They do a lot of giggling and laughing and a lot of playing around. Like when you see them around women, they be real childish, just like a female. They laughing and joking around. That's feminine. That's a feminine quality. Not being serious is feminine. I don't do a lot of joking around with females. I don't. Because I carry myself in a certain kind of way. When you have the truth, you're not going to be doing a lot of foolish joking, gesturing. Because I got too much up here. Like they say, an empty wagon makes a lot of noise. So nobody calling in, so I think I'm about to end this. We've been going for like almost 3 hours now. We've been going for almost 3 hours. I'm really enjoying it. This is Left Side of the Brain. For those who don't know, hit the likes button, hit the subscribe button. You can support us on Instagram. You can support us through Patreon And we also have a PayPal link that you can donate to the channel. The left side of the brain. Anybody want to call in? Lines are open. This is the time to do it. I see y'all commenting. I see y'all commenting. This is the time to do it now. Call in. It's the time to do it. So, living for yourself and not for others. I'll probably give it 5 more minutes. The lines are still open. See, I'm not one of these people. This is another thing. All of this astrology stuff, that's another thing. People into that astrology. Don't mix me with them people. I don't do no astrology. I don't need no astrology. Because the astrology is when I look at you and I can just tell. You're supposed to have X-ray vision. You should know who you can get along with and who you can't get along with. I don't need you reading my moon chart. I don't need that garbage. And a lot of people be thinking that's spiritual. That's not spiritual. Tarot cards and astrology, I don't do that. Astrology is a lie. It's a programming. It's an illusion. Why would you put yourself under some type of planetary matrix saying I got to act this kind of way because my moon is in Saturn and all of this crazy stuff they be saying? Fuck all that shit. That shit don't got nothing to do with 1 + 1 = 2. That has nothing to do to as in regards to you being a devil or not, or you being somebody that's trying to block the truth or not. I ain't never read no astrology on my life, in my entire life, and I'm just fine. I'm doing just fine. So that tells you don't need that shit. Only thing you need is what allows you to breathe. Water, air, and sunlight. I don't need astrology. The only planetary astrology that matters is the sun. Because without the sun, we wouldn't be here. Because all of the green on this earth would die. We don't need no astrology. So don't come my way with that. That's foolishness. You got a caller?
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail.
Left side of the brain.
Yo, what up, brother? Peace, left side, man. This is Yazoo.
All right. What's your are you a subscriber?
Well, on my other channel I am. So basically, yeah.
What's your other channel name? Because I've probably seen you before in the comment section.
I think it's Jedi Rhymes.
Okay, all right. What's your question then?
My question is, for people who do have kids and children and just now coming in this knowledge, what's the best thing for them to do? Their souls, and also their children's souls to elevate out this matrix.
Let me ask you this question. Do you have kids?
Yes.
So, well, there's nothing you can do about that now because you already had kids. Only thing you can do now is take care of your responsibility as a father. I mean, you already know that. I don't have to even tell you that. But I would say that, yeah, I don't tell people not to have children. Like me personally, I don't tell nobody what to do in a bedroom. I don't care. You want to have 1 million kids. I'm just saying I'm not having no kids because I look at it like this. if you have kids already, then you hear the information. You just got to take the football and keep running to the end zone. You might get tackled in a game. Life is a game. You might get tackled at the 10-yard line. That don't mean the game over. After you rehuddle your life, regroup, you still got 90 yards to go. So the first 10 yards, you could have got tackled, stumbled, and fell. You got to get back up and run to the end zone. I mean, as far as the information, everything I'm saying, have you noticed that everything I say about having kids, nobody contested? Everything I say about that darn see what I say, even the naysayers, they can't come up with an argument against it. Because it don't make sense to come up with an argument against it, because you can't come up with an argument against it. Because we all see, yeah, you see so vivid that kids and having children is not the answer to life. You can have 10 billion people. What is that going to change? It's just going to make the cities more congested. It's going to make the cities that's already polluted even more polluted with smog. We already dealing with fighting for jobs. We already got a problem with immigrants coming into the country and stuff. So what is adding more going to do to solve the problem?
Yeah, brother. Yeah, I wasn't just, it wasn't a personal question for me. I just think that should be out there because I think the good majority of people who do listen to you and interested in that type of knowledge should know that mess. Because, personally, I know what to do. Basically like what you were saying. And, I just feel like more people need to know that they got, they got their question back in their subconscious and they just kind of fighting to come up front, and ask that question.
Yeah.
With that type of reality I live with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I've had the scare of thinking I got a girl pregnant before. I'm gonna tell you what happened to me. Like, it felt like my life was over. It felt like everything I did in high school, all my high school memories, it's like it went out the window. It was like I was not even living for myself. It felt like I was a slave to another person. It felt like I had to be a totally different person now. I had responsibilities that I couldn't even shake if I wanted to. Like, when you have a kid, you have to be a new person. You're a father. You take on another title. See, right now, I'm a man. If I had a child, I would become a father. I wouldn't just be a man. I would be a father then. I don't want that title of being a father. I'll let y'all have it. I don't need that in my life. I got too much peace. I got, like, all that I'm searching for in life is truth, man. I'm not searching for a wife, kids, all that stuff is just egotism. I want to leave some kids behind. Why? They're going to die anyway.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be replaced by another person and their ego to have children. And then they're going to die and they got to be replaced. So it's like an appetite that's never fulfilled. But see, when I learned the truth about things, the truth is my child. The truth is my wife. The truth is my God. The truth is everything to me. See what I'm saying? So you got any a question or anything?
No, brother. That was the only question. Like I said earlier, man, I just think the masses who viewing this, I think that's a question they have in their subconscious.
Yeah, man. Like the masses of.
I do. Yeah, keep going.
Oh yeah, the masses of people, man, are dangerous, man. Ignorance is dangerous. Like I said before, ignorance will get you killed.
Right.
The masses of people, they only care about ignorance, man. They don't care about the truth, man. That's why, like, trying to be this right now, what I'm saying in public, it wouldn't benefit me. Who is this going to benefit other than the few of us here in this chat room? I can't take this out to the world. They're going to reject this. I'm not going to even try to take this to the world. I'm coming out with my book, but I'm not trying to save the world. Let them die. Let them perish. I don't care, man, because I wasn't born to save nobody but myself. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm not nobody's God. I'm not nobody's savior. I wasn't born to populate the earth with a whole bunch of children and have 200 kids and 400 kids and 500 kids. What am I gonna do all that shit for, man? When you gonna die anyway?
Yeah, that's some other people, man. Because personally, I only got one. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, you're a smart man. Because are you an African American?
I don't consider myself to go in that title, but to speak the language.
Hey man, that's smart what you just said. Because I don't identify with no titles. I call myself an Afrimanian. That means I'm a free man. Yeah, it's called Afrimanian. A free man. Afrimanian. I was thinking about coming out with a flag too. Yeah, like I'm an Afrimanian, man. I don't affiliate with race and all of that, because at the end of the day, your race will turn against you. Everybody will turn against you at the end of the day. The only person that you can 100% or surely know that will never turn against you is yourself. See, I got a saying that I say. You love yourself more than God. I'm going to tell you why. Because God, when you read the Bible, God will throw you into hell to be punished for all eternity, right? I would never throw myself in hell for all eternity. I don't care what I did. Would you?
No, hell no.
Hell no. So if God is willing to throw you in hell for all eternity, how can he love you more than you? So that means you can't even love yourself. I mean, God can't even love you more than you can love yourself. And when I came with that revelation, when God gave me that revelation, he basically gave me the formula of how to take on that unconditional mind that he has. It's not saying nothing against him. He wanted me to understand that. If he didn't want me to understand that, the thought wouldn't came to me. The thought came to me for me to understand that I have to think just like the creator thinks. God wouldn't throw himself in hell. So
most people don't think about that.
Yeah, if he wouldn't throw himself in hell, doesn't the Bible say put on the mind of Christ?
Yeah.
I'm putting on the mind of Christ because I wouldn't throw myself in hell. He wouldn't throw himself in hell. I wouldn't throw myself in hell for nothing in the world. Just like Jesus, he wouldn't throw himself into hell for nothing in the world. Who want to do that to themselves? So that's putting on the mind of Christ. You see what I'm saying? I don't do this channel for fame or anything like that. That's why I cover my face up, because I'm not doing it for that. I don't even speak other YouTubers, their name and stuff, because I'm not trying to get in YouTube beefs with anybody and all that. If I wanted to do that stuff, man, I could do that. I can just take this thing off my face, cause some ruckus and chaos and be talking about what other people doing and all that. I'm not about all that stuff, man. I'm just doing this because I love to do it, basically.
Yeah, same here.
I just do this because I love to do it, man. But anything else you want to say?
Nah, bro, that was pretty much it, man. And when I said the masses, I wasn't talking about like legit the masses, basically the masses who's into this type of knowledge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The masses of people are like, the masses are asses. It's in the word, masses, asses.
Yeah.
The masses are asses. They jackasses. You know what I'm saying? So you can't. You know what I'm saying? The masses are asses. You can't look at them because they're not taking the world to where it needs to be. Like I just focus on this, man. That's all I can say. I focus on the darkness, man. When I'm in my room at night, on my soft pillow, on my bed, lights out, that's where I'm supposed to be, man. I mean, the darkness, man. The true
get lost.
Yeah, the true light, the darkness. That's what it's about, man.
Yeah, but that's pretty much it, man. And by the way, I kind of been watching your vids since like late 2017.
Oh, okay, that's what's up.
Kind of, someone being kind of new in this. So.
All right, that's what's up, man. Big ups to you, man. You want to shout out your channel or anything?
Oh, nah, man, it's all good, man. I'll shout out to everybody else in the chat, everybody who's coming into this knowledge, and everybody who just trying to stay focused and really figure out what's going on. All you really got to do is look into yourself. I mean, I came to, revelation myself, too, like the word you. I mean, your own acronym about it, your own universe.
Oh, wow.
Be within yourself.
I like that.
Yeah, it's kind of tight, right?
Yeah, that's tight. Damn, that's tight.
Everybody out there, keep elevating. Much love to you too. That's how the brain, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Still supporting brothers with like minds and everything like that. So, yeah.
All right, peace, man. One.
Peace, my brother.
Yeah, Jaguars up. Peace, brother. Peace. Wow, man, that was tight. You heard that acronym he said? You. He said U stands for your own universe. Wow, that shit dope. That shit dope. I thought my truth, the right understanding to heaven was dope, but that you, I like that shit. Your own universe. Man, that shit was hot. But yo, I'm about to go offline. This is Left Side of the Brain. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm gonna leave this up. I don't know how long I'm gonna leave it up, but it's here. Y'all let me know what you think. Let me know if y'all want to do this again. I want more participation next time. Let me know what y'all think about doing another live stream next week sometime. I want to see more Jaguar participation. But I think that's enough for tonight. That was real deep. I like that. So let's give it. This Left Side of the Brain. Jaguars up.